Somewhere in the snowy mountains of the Arctic,
A group of genetic researchers from Hong Kong are surveying the area. When you get an abnormal signal from this area,
expedition leader Virgin
quickly noticed a spike on the radar.
It shows disturbances in nearby gravitation fields. This information is immediately reported to the headquarters, where the researcher, Professor Lin, think that
This abnormality is a good sign for mutations,
moving their vehicles quickly crashes. Stop them from moving.
and people noticed something's moving under the snow. Suddenly, a giant arm came out from below and banged down the side of the car.
Break all the windows. At the same time, the giant horn appeared the car. It's amazing, and the whole car gets pushed up the mountain and fall into the abyss. We ended up at the bottom of the cliff while the whole team was seriously injured.
Horrible Virgin. When you see a giant stone monster getting closer, everyone knows their team is in danger.
Professor Lin and Kai went to find a famous archaeologist. His name is Fei.
This man clearly doesn't care about them, because there was friction with the people on the team.
However, when the professor says that the person is in danger,
Fei quickly changed his mind. Clearly, he still has feelings for you. They quickly arrived at the team's final location.
escorted by many soldiers, and finally to a mysterious ancient temple.
I immediately noticed this place was very strange, because all your tools are broken due to the disorder.
From geography file, get a map and see the pattern of the columns. Exactly matches your schematics.
They quickly identify switches and entrances. When they press the mechanisms together,
The ground began to shake.
and many pillars rise from the ground.
It's amazing.
Suddenly, the ground breaks out in the center, make people fall down, and landed in a giant cave. While other signals are cut off from headquarters. Fortunately, no one was injured in this incident.
While everyone's looking for a way out,
They quickly found the ruins.
from thousands of years ago, when thoroughly checked, the skeletons all seem to have holes in the back of their heads.
It makes people question whether this is happening like this.
How to? The expedition continued deep into the caves and stopped.
When I saw one of the soldiers in action,
It's strange that this soldier fell to the ground.
a large hole in his head exposed.
The group began to hear a lot of clicking noise when countless birds eat meat from the eggs of eye.
And attack people,
The soldiers immediately fired, but the number is too large
and they're quickly overwhelmed.
when attacked by these animals. A soldier screaming in the chaos when the others are loading. The creatures began to gather around the soldier.
And lift him up into the air. The FA realized that they can be very sensitive to noise and ask people to be quiet.
The birds eventually return to the cave, and the team tries to move as stealthily as possible.
Suddenly, Kai's phone rang an early morning alarm, forced people to run immediately.
They hurry towards the exit, while the creatures rush towards them in large numbers. Just throw a grenade,
Causing large explosions in the cave, temporarily out of danger.
and then they were shocked by this incredible sight. In front of the spear,
Master thought that.
this could be due to abnormal gravitation fields.
The team continues to search for the missing team, and Milling detects a headlight in the snow.
This may be the location of the accident. The mercenary captain also found the camera. It still seems to work. Show video about Trin and her team.
It shows they may still be alive.
Before they decide the next step, one of the soldiers,
I notice some movement nearby, and it's immediately revealed to be a giant shark. Jump over them.
the creatures began to attack and devour the soldiers. Immediately when it hits the snow, make the mercenaries shoot furiously at you. The monster, however,
Their attacks are not effective, and it's hurrying to someone else.
take the victim and drag him away.
People around you try to retreat,
But monsters jump out of the ground.
and put everyone in the air,
The creature rushed into the other group.
showing off its giant teeth, make people cringe in fear. Before the animal can swallow,
The shark was grabbed by a giant creature. Turns out it's the snow monster.
they're stunned
When the giant creature attacks the shark,
and cause earthquakes with every stroke.
the creature finally began to devour the giant fish.
But a soldier accidentally fired a gun.
The monster attacks the group violently. The mercenaries shoot at giant monsters, but the attacks didn't work. It just makes him more angry. The creature attacks the mountain with great power, creating a powerful wave, causing people to fall to the ground.
They're trying to shoot a missile, but he slipped and made an explosion on the mountain, led to an avalanche.
They tried to flee immediately.
But Kai fell in the chaos. Or fire rushed towards his friend for help, which led to them all being buried in the snow. When Fire finally woke up, he realized that they had been captured by the natives.
While the village chief began the ceremony, they've had their shoes removed and their feet cut off to draw blood.
When the milling secretly cuts the rope that binds my hand, I freed myself at the last minute and kidnapped the village chief. It makes people look very stressed. Suddenly, a warrior jumps back, face, and throw him away.
While the two of you start fighting each other furiously.
Fake is clearly not the enemy. When you're captured by a female warrior,
Make everyone shout your name in victory. Turns out the warrior's name is Kaya, the most feared warrior in the tribe. She is also the daughter of the village chief. Fortunately, a voice asked everyone to stop,
and quickly revealed that
Joan survived the accident.
because she was also saved by the natives. I pray for your life. As she watched, she laughed and eventually fainted.
When you wake up again, Chen explained to her ex-boyfriend
That indigenous people are good people.
and this ritual, it helps new people recover faster. All the members of your team died in the expedition. At the same time,
The mercenary captain is respecting all. The soldiers lost their lives. The soldiers couldn't find it.
any survivors?
Peace is quickly broken.
When the ground starts to shake in,
A roar echoing from afar make people rush to seek refuge.
the snow monster approached them very quickly, as it passes through people as if they're just grains of sand. While
And everyone was shocked by the enormity of the creature.
the professor was fascinated by the giant monster and revealed to the captain the true purpose.
It turns out that Lin always doubted the existence of the snow monster, and he's going to capture this creature.
To advance genetic research for decades,
You want the soldiers to help you take down the giant monster.
he promised to pay people money in exchange for help. File notification with the professor.
That he would announce sending more reinforcements because the organism seems to be immune to guns.
Usually, meanwhile, the natives are preparing a ceremony
To welcome snow monsters into their village when they worship this creature as their god. None.
It's famous for its ability to communicate with this creature.
Preparing to summon the monster.
In front of those invited, the village chief blows his trumpet to welcome the creature, and very quickly, the ground began to shake when the giant snow monster appeared. From the foot of the mountain, the snow monster roared to welcome everyone. The young man rolled down the stairs like a
Snowballs while everyone laughed, including organisms. But it reached out its hand to the milling.
and I summon all my courage. Contact with the snow monster. The ceremony is peaceful.
Quickly interrupted.
When the creature is struck by a massive explosion,
From behind, the second missile hit the mountain and make everyone fall to the ground. Turns out the mercenaries found their location.
and Professor Lin.
Order the soldiers to fire immediately at the creature
This makes people angry,
and attack the invaders.
but
They can't resist the modern weapons of the soldiers.
while the female warrior rushed to attack, and the two of you start exchanging blows,
When they are equal,
the monster went crazy,
because of human gunfire, and attack with its giant arm,
but stop at the last minute.
because it doesn't want to kill your friends. Lin seizes the opportunity,
And fired his cannon at the giant monster,
releasing a powerful shockwave.
causing the creature to be severely injured and screaming in pain. The last snow monster fell down the mountain.
While Fei and his friends,
He was captured by mercenaries.
Lin rushed over and found the creature had retreated.
John wants to know why.
Why does it say Fei do such things?
The professor mocked the woman for her lack of imagination.
Because organisms can become valuable assets for the advancement of humanity. He pointed a gun at the nun.
And asked you to lead them to the monster. The woman immediately refused. Lin shot her husband in front of her. She was grieving the death of her husband, but Lin immediately took her and her daughter away.
Forcing them to reveal the location of the creature. Mercenaries take the hostages, while keeping his face and friends tied up.
Next to the people they killed.
The soldiers took the nun and her daughter to the wilderness. They have to find the location of the monster.
Snow. Strange things start to happen when the soldiers disappear.
In a split second,
The soldiers realized and became alert until a giant shark jumps at the ground. Open the giant's teeth and plunge under the snow. The priestess gives her people,
quickly hiding into the rocks, while many other creatures emerged.
finally surrounded the soldiers as they shot hastily. But their guns didn't work, because the monsters are protected by the thick snow.
And people are pushed into the corner. They're trying to climb the rocks.
In a state of chaos. At the last minute, the professor took out the electric cannon and fired at the ground, creating a powerful shockwave.
Flying all the sharks and snow into the air.
When everything finally settles down, people start to notice large amounts of blood floating on the ground, show that they have destroyed all the monsters.
With just one shot,
The professor laughed and immediately turned around.
angry with the nun.
That you deliberately led them into a trap. He threatened to kill her daughter. However,
Kaya flew the gun and wrestled him to the ground.
the captain saw that and fired. But the priestess jumped into the shelter. Sacrifice yourself to protect your child.
Kaya hugged her mother and cried in pain.
While everyone started, I hear the monsters roar. The distant snow turned out. The creature decided to appear to feel the death of a woman, and decided to pay the enemy for the fallen friend,
The mercenaries quickly surrounded.
and start shooting with other weapons. But it doesn't work for giant creatures. The snow monster roared furiously at everyone, while the professor took the opportunity to shoot.
Firecrackers at the snow monster.
But the creature easily dodged the shot. This time, the monster became more angry and stomped on. I almost killed the professor in seconds. Creatures that attack people with its giant hands make the soldiers soar into the air. Obviously,
Man can't fight this giant creature. Kaya took advantage of the opportunity.
run into the captain and throw his gun away, fighting with the man.
To avenge your mother's death.
The snow monster captured one of the soldiers
And put him in the air.
prepare to swallow the man
However, it was quickly stopped.
by a big explosion from behind,
It turns out that outside reinforcements have been sent here.
and the fighter jets.
Quickly surrounded the snow monster from all sides.
But the organism immediately counterattacks as it smashes planes into pieces
Tirepiece. The other planes had to use sonar weapons
and send waves into the organism. Professor Lin took advantage of the opportunity.
and aimed at the snow monster before shooting at the creature.
Make the giant monster stunned and stand still in place.
Before you can do more damage.
The bird pointed a gun at his head. The professor tried to convince him to stop.
But he got her gun right away. He tied the bird to the side of the cliff. It finally made you fall, but quickly saved by Milling
Who was out of danger?
before he too fell.
Kai throws the rope to them and saves them by sacrificing his penis.
Finally pulled them back up.
Milling rushed run to Rocket and tried to take down planes. Fight. The captain continued to attack angrily. It hit her and made her fly away.
Before the final blow,
Kai dashes in and defeats opponents like a Kung Fu Panda. The captain threw him to the ground
and start turning you into a sandbag. This gave Kaya a chance to capture the man.
and strangled.
He's finally finished avenging your family.
At the same time as the locking targets into planes, and the rocket shot destroyed the fighter. The debris flying towards everyone
And fell right on the professor's feet. Keep him on the ground.
The snow monster finally broke the siege
As it jumps up the middle stitch.
and smashed another plane into pieces.
Before roaring in anger at everyone.
But the professor refused to give up and tried to shoot the creature again. Let the monster fall. With giant power, crush him. The snow monster turned towards man and seeing the injured, don't feel sorry for them.
Finally.
The giant monster turned away and slowly disappeared.
Meanwhile, Shen hugged his ex, excited for saving her life.
The survivor,
Trying to say goodbye to the natives.
at the same time, remember their kindness with the new arrivals. But
They quickly realize that everything has been destroyed when there are almost no people left. They can't help but go back to their sadness.
only the pain of losing a loved one remains.